Jeff here on a Thursday, and what a beautiful day it is. So I'm at kind of a different location here today. Um, as you can see, got these really strong trees around, these pine trees, and so there's a lot. As I was saying before, you might have watched another video of mine. And let me just get back to it. I'm Michael Jeff, and this is the Yoga Lounge channel. In case you haven't wandered by here before, but anyway, so the pine trees. When you breathe below a pine tree, they have so much energy that comes from, the pine needles, and so you have this oxygenation that goes on that you take in from the body, no matter how bad the air is outside, and this really illuminates through the whole body and spreads and permeates the cells and helps the cells to regenerate. And so this is what the pine trees do with all this great energy. And I know I'm a little dark here, because I don't have the correct lighting. Okay, all right. So here we go. That's what happens when you're around pine trees. So and hey, it's cool to live in the desert. Some people just love the desert and they live to live in the 90-degree heat because it's comfortable and it's they. People that are kind of cold-blooded and they never get really hot, but they tend to get more cold. So, but I've always liked to live in the mountains up in I've always like Lake Tahoe, Mammoth Mountain, up in Colorado or wherever the Rocky Mountains, the Sierra Nevada, or up in the Cascades, and I just love that kind of a lifestyle because I'm a snowboarder and a skier. And so I love to do all those things, and I love the cold temperature. I used to get out at night, and I would get up this is several years back when I lived up in Lake Tahoe, and at that time I was married, so I would get up on Friday mornings and go to the men's accountability group over at the church that was kind of like the closest church around the corner. And anyway, so it was just very powerful because of that snow. You get out there, you get that invigoration. That air just comes through you, and it makes you feel, even though you're kind of, you're kind of uncomfortable, and you don't want to be cold, obviously, but it just makes you feel so. After it's all said and over, it makes you feel done. And then so then I go to the accountability, and all the men would confess all their deepest sins for the week, and including myself. And so then we'd go have coffee, And so this was up in South Lake Tahoe, California. Like on a typical winter day, or could have been during the summer too. I was up there for about 10 years. We used to take hikes, we go up to the top of Mount Talac, which is about close to 12,000 feet. And so get up to the mountain, I'd go up to the top and we used to just walk, and I'd have my son on my backpack, and he was about maybe 2 or 3 years old at that time. And my wife, and she was a mountain climber. She's from Germany, and she grew up in the mountains. She loved to hike, and if it was a sunny day, we were going out in the nature, man. And that was it. And then we had to rush back, and then she would kind of put everything off and procrastinate, until about 2:00, and then she would say, "Okay, look, we got to run to the store. Okay, now I've got to throw together a dinner," and so then I have to be at work about 4:00, right? So I was selling timeshare at the time. I was a marketing rep in the casinos, worked and did that for about several years. But it was just the pattern, go hiking during the day, and I loved it on my days off because we didn't have to. I didn't have to rush over to work, and then I'd come home late at night. Usually take the bus back. It was usually about midnight when I got off. It was just an adventure, So anyways, I'm going to give you one verse today. And I'm so dark here, but I might just leave it up. Okay, so this is something that's a lot of people can relate to, that have been through serious illness, serious sickness, anxiety, stress. panic attacks, you name it, um, you know, conditions, back conditions that are just so overwhelming with, because of different things, that are in the atmosphere, the things that people eat, the stress that people take in. And I've talked about this in a lot of my videos, that people get stressed out. They can't fight off the negativity, and, they don't really want to. They want to dwell on that negativity, but all that negativity promotes, like, disease and illness and a lot of stress and anxiety. So before I close here, so this is the verse, 2 Corinthians 12:7. Now this is what happened to Paul. So you might have heard this in some of my previous messages, that so Paul had many missions, where he went out and he espoused the word of Jesus Christ, and he taught to many people, including in one of the videos I talked about Tychicus, who was one of his. He was a mentor for Tychicus, and he would give, he would preach the message of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and he was this one, the best of all time. So this goes back to the biblical times, and there was really nobody like Paul. And there's many others besides Paul, of course, that we know about, including John the Baptist. But so this is the verse, and I'm going to close out. 2 Corinthians 12:7. So Paul was given a thorn in his side. So he was given a thorn in his side. Now, a lot of people don't know what the thorn was, or where, if it was a mental condition, like maybe it was a serious anxiety condition where he thought he was going to die, and maybe it was something to do with his, his heart or whatever. It could have been his back, or it could have been, the Bible refers to it as an arrow that was shot through the side. So he was given, and God allowed Satan to give Paul a thorn in his side because of the surpassing revelations, that he would not boast and he would not be conceited, and people would believe him. People would believe in what he taught because he would not come across in a prideful way. And so this is what I talk about a lot. So this is the time where God puts us through different trials, different sufferings, different events in our lives. So through this weakness, Paul also said, when I am weak, I am strong. So through weakness is strength. You can never see the kingdom of God when you're in your own strength. It's just not possible. Only through total obliviation, humiliation, and weakness. And when you're saying, God, help me, I'm so weak. And then you have this incredible strength that comes on you from God, because then you're humble. You've humbled yourself. But if you have a prideful, boasting spirit, it's very hard to please God and come to God. Anyway, so that is the verse. So he was given the thorn in his side because of the surpassing revelations, that he would not boast in himself and not be conceited. And God allowed this to happen for a messenger of Satan, or Satan himself for that matter, to come and give him that thorn in the side. And so, don't really know, he probably had it for a long time. Maybe it was all his life. Anyway, so it's a great day here in the pine trees, having fun, and it's kind of neat out, kind of a nice day. And so I'm going to check out